Shalom. I would like to first start off giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, the men that taught us this truth through the Spirit. And peace and blessing to the elect, the ones of you that are scattered throughout the four corners of the world, of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, who make up the children of Israel, according to the Bible, who are allotted for salvation here in these last days. Now, we're living in the most special and greatest time in the history thus far. We're living in a time of the things that were written in this Bible, the prophecy that was written in this Bible coming to pass. And they've been coming to pass, ever since this book was written, the ancient scrolls, and now we have it in book form. There's been many prophecies that have come to pass, and we're living in a time where we're living in the time of the last prophecies of the Bible. Okay, we're living in a time of salvation coming to us, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, who are the Israelites. And this video, I'm going to go into a scripture or so, if the Spirit leads me that direction. I'll go in. I have a couple of scriptures to go into. If the Spirit leads me to more scriptures, I'll bring them out. So this video is going to be going into the seriousness of the Passover, because we're living in the time of the new Passover being fulfilled. And I'm going to, speak on that briefly, that we're living in the time, because I say this, the time that we are living in, where salvation is going to be allotted to us Israelites, the elect, that is, the ones that the Most High set to be delivered since the beginning of this world. That goes into the new Passover. Okay, our salvation. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into the scriptures, and I'm gonna speak on, like I said, the importance of the Passover, and we're living in the time of the new Passover. Okay, so I want to start with what I'm gonna do is, like I said, I'm gonna bring these scriptures out, and if the Spirit leads me to other scriptures, I'll bring those out. So this is Ezekiel chapter 9, verse I'm starting verse 4. And it reads, "And the Lord Yahweh said unto him, Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem." Jerusalem is a people before it's a place. So Jerusalem represents the so-called Negroes, the so-called Latinos, and the so-called Native Americans. All of us here in North, South, and Central America, and scattered throughout the four corners of the world, because the Israelites are scattered all over the world mainly through slavery. Okay, so Jerusalem is a people before it's a place. It says, "And set a mark upon the foreheads of them." I'm sorry, let me read that again. "And set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof." Okay, so that mark is dealing with you being exempt from the destruction. And if you go into the Hebrew word, which is tawa, if you look, you can look it up. It's tawa. And it means exempt from judgment, meaning that when the Most High send the death angels, and they start getting busy putting people to death, whether it be through the different plagues, it be through these different plagues that the Most High send, and all this death and destruction comes to visit the world, and especially here in America. And when those spirits that the Most High send to destroy, they will see a mark, like the scripture said. They will see the mark, which means exempt from judgment. They will say, okay, well, he's exempt from judgment, she's exempt from judgment, and the rest, the people that's allotted to be delivered, the one that have the mark, which it represents you being exempt from judgment, you will not be destroyed. Okay? I'm going to read on. This is verse 5. It says, and to the others he said in mine hearing, go ye after him through the city and smite. Let not your eyes spare, neither have ye pity. Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women. But come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary. Then they began at the ancient men which were before the house. So, the focal point that I want to focus on of these verses is that word mark. Now, you're not just going to be exempt from judgment any old way, okay? First and foremost, the Most High, through his son Yahushua, from the very beginning or before the foundation of the earth, he set up who he was going to deliver in these last days. He ordained it, He ordained who would be delivered in these last days. So that's first and foremost. Now, we're going to keep the Passover tomorrow at Eve. And the Passover, you can read it in Exodus, the 12th chapter. Just to give a quick summary of the Passover, to summarize the Passover, it was time for salvation or deliverance for the nation of Israel out of Egypt. You read about it in the scriptures. And the Most High told Moses to tell the people to put blood on their doorposts, on the sides and on the doorpost of their door, so that when the Most High sent a death angel, the death angel through to kill all the firstborn of the Egyptians and all the firstborn of the cattle, that would be a sign to the Egyptians to let the children of Israel go, or as a sign to the Pharaoh, that last and ultimate plague that the Most High sent in that time on the Egyptian kingdom. Okay, and that caused deliverance amongst the Israelites, for the Israelites. And the death angel passed over the children of Israel because we had the blood of the lamb upon our doorposts. Okay? And I'm not going to get the scriptures on it for the sake of time. But this new Passover, we have to also have blood on our doorposts. Okay? In order for the destruction to pass over us. In order for the destruction to pass over you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you need the blood of the lamb on your doorposts. Okay? Now, spiritually, we are to do that now by believing in Yahushua, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, and putting his wisdom, knowledge, and understanding in your mind, and living by it, living by the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that the scriptures give us. The scriptures tell us in Isaiah 33:6 that wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, meaning that when all hell breaks loose and the plagues that Yahweh told the apostles that were going to come in the last days to show the sign that he was on his way to deliver us, that wisdom and knowledge is going to hold you down when all hell breaks loose, when all those plagues come upon the earth, on you and on the whole earth, which you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are scattered across the whole earth. In America, the ones of us here in America is gonna witness the most devastating time in history, according to Daniel 12 in the verse 1. Okay, so the way that we get exempt from judgment is by having the blood of Yahweh and his body, his whole in entirety, which comes in the form of this Bible. You got to put it in your head. You got to put this understanding in your head. You got to put the prophecy. You got to get into the prophecies. You got to understand them, and you got to believe in this. Ultimately, you got to believe in this book. You got to believe in the Bible. If you believe in the Bible, that means you have faith, and faith is going to move you to live your life according to the wisdom and knowledge and understanding that the Most High have given us, because the knowledge is out here, starting with the apostles of Great Millstone and the elders, on down to the various teachers and brothers that teach this word all across the planet Earth, all across the planet Earth. The knowledge is out there, and that knowledge is what can save us. Okay, that knowledge is what can save us, man. The wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of this Bible is what is going to have. Is what is going to have us exempt from judgment, Lord willing. I say us, include myself, because I hope to be of that number. Okay. So, like I said, I thought of many scriptures. I didn't bring them out for the sake of time. But Ezekiel 9, 4, 5, and 6, you got to have that mark upon your forehead, which represent putting His word in your mind, in your spirit, so that when the destruction comes to pass, the time of Jacob's trouble, all the way until the time of the thermonuclear missiles that the Most High is going to send here on Babylon the Great, when that time comes, you will be exempt from that judgment and receive salvation. Okay? And that's pretty much it. Like I said, many scriptures could have got brought out. They came to mind, but I didn't bring them out. Yeah, that's it, man. With that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory once again to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And Shalom.